Hi, good evening. It is 5:15 on Friday the 31st of January. Just about to head off out now. I'm hoping things might be a little bit busier tonight. Obviously people have been paid. I know some people would have been paid last week. Depends on, who you're working for and things like that, but I think the majority of people would have been paid this week at some point. So yeah, hopefully things might be a little bit busier if people have been gasping all month and they haven't been able to come out. So yeah, I'll keep you posted shortly, and fingers crossed things have improved. So it's been a few hours. It is now 9:30. It's been busy, but the jobs just haven't really been fantastic, really, to be honest. I thought I started at 5:30, but I just realised my first job was at 5:05, so I didn't. I started at 5. So I set off. First one was a base going to Ormskirk, so it wasn't too bad. £7.43 for 3.2 miles. I then done another job, which was a base go back into Ormskirk, £8.04 for 2.9 miles, but I ran about a good 2 miles for it, I reckon. And then I was in Ormskirk and it was just absolutely rammed. So like this next one came up, it was 0.7 of a mile away, going 0.7 of a mile for £3.87. So I thought, well, I'll do that because it's like 1.5 miles for like £3.87. And it was just absolutely bumper to bumper all around Ormskirk, which was a nightmare. And after I dropped them off, I thought I want to head towards like Southport and get away from all this traffic, because if you don't know Ormskirk, it's basically just like a one-way system all the way around, and you just sit there. So after that, I got a job from Ormskirk to Southport. The fare was pretty crap, to be honest. It was £8.84 for 6.7 miles. But I thought, well, at least it gets me out of Ormskirk. Then got a surge job when I landed here, £6.38 for 1.1 miles. Then got a £7.45 for 4.03 of a mile. 4.23 for 2.3 miles. A 4.25 for 1.2. A 3.75 for 1.5. It's like a bit of a theme here. You can see how low all the fares have been. A 3.73 for 1.2, a 4.18 for 1.1. I then got, which was including a £3 tip, so it would have been £3.78 for 1.6 miles, but it was 6.78. I then got a 5.57 for 2.6 miles, a 5.96 for 3.4 miles, a 3.71 for 1.4 miles, a 3.66 for 1.1 miles, and then I've just done a 3.69 for 1.5 miles. So currently on £91.52. Done 17 trips, so that works out at roughly £20.33 an hour, which is crap really for a Friday night. It just doesn't help with like some of the jobs that's been popping up. Like, what was this one? 6.5 miles away to do a half-mile job. £6.40 an XL. The reservation job's just popped up, which I'm obviously not going to be taking because I know how much I hate them. Again, even that is crap. So it's in the morning, be online at 5:20 for a 6 AM pickup. Why do you need to be online 40 minutes beforehand? I don't know. It's going from Southport to it's towards Preston way. Don't know why it doesn't give you an address. It's basically £18 for 12 miles, and they want someone to get out of bed at 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning to do that. Yeah, so it's a little bit rubbish, the fares. What else do they have? They wanted me to drive from Ormskirk to Wigan, which was 10 miles away, to do a 1.5 mile job for £6.40. So again, ignored that. I went online, So between 5:20 and 8:10, I stopped because I was dying for a wait at McDonald's. So when I was online then, which was 6, 7, so like 2 hours 40 minutes, I was offered 40 jobs and I accepted 11. So it just shows you, well, basically there 75% of the jobs I had to decline because they just weren't offering enough. I've then been online from 8 o'clock when I came out to McDonald's until when I've just come offline to do this update, so just before 9:30. So in an hour and a half I was then offered 32 jobs and I accepted 6. So again, it just shows you what's that, like 4/5 of the jobs I've had to decline because they're just getting ridiculous what they're offering. Had some weird ones in tonight. Picked up a girl before she got in. She was a big girl, like she had like next to nothing on. I thought, oh, she must be freezing. Pulled up, opened the door, she jumped in, shut the door. As soon as we pulled off, she goes, oh, I'm sweating. Are you okay to, can you open a window? Or can you put the aircon on? I said, you're having a laugh. I said, it's like 4 degrees. I'm sat here now, I've got thermals on, I've got a t-shirt, I've got a hoodie and a jacket on and my heated seats on, and I was cold. And I was like, how are you so hot? And she was like, oh, I don't know. She said, I've been like this for the past day or two. I might have COVID or something. There's a lot of it going around at the minute. I'm thinking, bloody hell, have you got COVID? Like, should you be sitting at home going out on the ale? So I was like, I can turn the fans off for you. I said, but I don't want to open the window. I said, because I'm freezing. She was like, oh, it's okay. She said, I've got a fan in my bag, and then pulls out this big electrical fan, starts wafting herself with her. So then we went and picked her mate up. She get to, and she was like, she was saying, oh, I thought you were a bit skint. She was like, oh, well, I was. She said, but I managed to get one of the fellas online last night. He sent me £800. She said, so I paid off a few little bills and debts. She said, I paid you that money back before. She said, I went out, I've had my hair and makeup done this afternoon, and that's why I've come out tonight. So, I mean, I don't know who's flashing the cash and sending £800 to like random people online, but if anyone wants to send me £800, I'll more than happily accept it. I then done another job in Ormskirk before I left there. That was that 0.7 of a mile job that I'd done, which was the last one before I left Ormskirk. So I picked them up, it was a dead end. I reverse out of their road, just start pulling off, and she goes, oh, can you just pull in by this post box just on your left here? I was thinking, right, okay, I'll do them a favour. So I'll pull in, thinking, well, assuming you're going to post something. Thought it was a bit lazy because it's like 30 metres away from the front door. And she says to a fella, I'll just phone her now. And I was like, whoa, what do you mean you're phoning her now? She said, oh yeah, is it okay if my mate just runs down the road and she jumps in? I said, no, I said, that's another stop. I felt like saying to her, like, why doesn't your mate come to your house if you only live 30 metres away from each other? I said, I'll tell you what, I said, the lights are on red. I said, so I can't go anywhere. I said, so if she comes out in that time, she can jump in. I said, but I can't wait. So she's like, oh yeah, that's okay. Because the light I was at, it's basically like, they call it like the 5 ways, and you sat there for a while. So yeah, best part of like 2 minutes goes, and then the lights turn green. I said, I'm gonna have to go. She was like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine. And I'm thinking, one, how lazy can you be? Why wouldn't you just say, walk around to ours, the Uber's on the way? And two, why would you just think, I'm just gonna start telling people where to stop? I had another guy just then on Lord Street. I pull up, he's put the green dot outside this bar, which is on the right hand side of the road, but you have to turn off Lord Street and go down like 20 metres and stop at this bar. But as I got to that, I seen a blue dot in a bar on the left hand side of the road. But the thing is, as you know, if you're an Uber driver, you can't drive to the blue dot because the job won't start, or it won't notify the rider unless you go to the green dot, the pickup point. So I turn and go to the green dot, sitting there, 3 minutes elapses. I thought, I'm going to end up cancelling this and getting the money. And then a message pops up, where are you? And if you know me, I can't stand it when people are being rude. You're not like, oh hi, where are you? I'm struggling to find you, or anything like that. Just, where are you? So I messaged him back and I said, I'm at the green dot where you've told me to go. And he was like, where's that? And I was like, well, if you look on the app where your green dot is, that's where I'm parked. And I was thinking, like, what an idiot. Like, he's booked it. He's requested a driver to go to that point. A driver goes there. He then starts questioning the driver to say, where are you? So I sat there, another minute goes by, I'm getting ready to cancel and take the money. And then he comes running across the road and he opens the door and he's like, oh yeah, sorry about that, I didn't know where you was. I was like, alright. I said, well, I've gone to where you've booked it for, mate. So then the other two get in, it was a couple. So then we're driving off, we're going towards us, there's only a one stop. It sounded as though they were carrying on after he was getting out, but they were talking about what food they were going to eat when they got there. It was only a one stop, it wasn't a multi-drop. So we're pulling into his little cul-de-sac, and then he starts saying to them too, right, yeah, so I'll leave you to it then. And then his mate goes, all right, so is this all sorted? And he was like, yeah. He said, that's how Uber works. He said, basically, this is on my app now, so you can just go wherever you want and it'll get billed to me. Watch you don't start travelling too far. And they're all like having a little laugh and joke about it. And I was like, well, hang on a sec. I said, that's not how Uber works. I said, you need to book a stop. You need to put it in where they're going. And he was like, oh, all right, okay, yeah, I'll sort that. So he's trying to sort that on his phone. The other guy saying, oh, can I just give you a tenner? He said, because we're just going round to the pub corner. I said, I can't, it's Uber, that's how it works. And he's like, oh yeah, I know that's how it works, but, why can't you just take a tenner? And I said, because it's not worth me losing my licence for £10, is it? And he was like, oh, I suppose so, yeah. He said, but how's anybody ever going to know? And I was like, well, how do I know that you don't work for the council? And he was like, oh, is that what they do? I said, well, yeah, they do that. So he was like, oh, right, okay. So his mate's trying to faff. So then next thing his mate's going, right, okay, I'm just booking this now, £4.50. Is that gonna come through to you? I said, no. I said, don't cancel the job. I said, you need to add another stop. He's trying to book another job, and then it declined him because you can't book another Uber whilst you've got a job ongoing. And he's like, oh, I don't know how to do it. I was like, just go to your current job. And he's like, how do I do that? I said, my face is on your phone. I said, click on that and then add another stop. It was a nightmare. So we had another stop and went and dropped the mates off. And then the mates who were 40 and 42, I think, they were like, oh, we don't know how Uber works, and we just use like the local firms and that. He said, well, but they're a nightmare, you phone up and you're waiting forever. And I'm like, well, why don't you just use Uber? And they're like, oh, I don't know how you use it. So you download it, you add your card to it, and that's it. There's nothing to do. And then the lady was saying, oh, but is it safe? And I was like, what do you mean, is it safe? And she was like, well, anybody can pick you up. And I was like, oh my God. I said, I haven't got time for this. So I was like, yeah, it's safe. And they got out. Who else did they have? Oh yeah, that was it. As I dropped them off, I had accepted another job, which was at the pub I was dropping them off. So they get out and they were like, oh, do you want us to shut the door? I said, no. I said, I think, I'm assuming it's these three ladies are getting in now. So they went over and they said, oh, I think that's your Uber. So then one of them comes over and she was like, oh, is it for such and such? I said, no. I said, I'm here for Lynn or something. She was like, all right. Are you here for, and she was saying this other name. I was like, no. I said, I'm here for Lynn. She was like, all right. So then the other girl comes over. She was like, oh yeah. She says another name again. I said, no. I said, I'm here for Lynn. And she was like, oh yeah, that's Lynn. And then gives the surname. I said, all right. I said, well, it's no good you giving me the surname. I said, because I've only got a first name. That's all the information I've got. I don't know anything else about you. So she's like, all right. So the three of them get in. And she's like, oh, this door shut itself. I was like, yeah, it's automatic. So I pressed the door shutter. And then the one in the middle goes, how do we know this is the driver? And she's like half trying to whisper it. She said, like, he could be trying to like kidnap us. And I said, well, it's a bit late now if you've left it now to determine now you're in and the door's locked. And then it's like one of them like started laughing. She was like, but how do we know it's you? And I said, well, if you look at your phone, I said, there's a photograph of me on your phone. So she's like, oh, hang on a sec, let's have a look. So I'm already on my way to the first drop at this point. So then she's like, oh yeah, it's got a picture of you, but she said, I haven't looked at your face when I got in. I said, well, you're supposed to do it for your safety. I said, and then on top of that, it tells you the make and model of the car. It tells you my vehicle registration. I said, these are all the safety things you should be checking before you get in the car, not just jumping in a car with blacked out windows and then hoping for the best. So then she was one of them where, you know, we've then travelled like 2 or 3 miles or so to left, right and all that. And we're coming up to her house. So I start indicating, because you have to turn left to go down her street. And she's like, oh yeah, we're just turning left here. So I was like, oh yeah, I know, thanks. I said, I'm indicating left. I said, and it tells me on the app. I said, it's there on the screen, you can see it. Because she was sat in the middle. And she was like, oh, that was a little bit rude. So we turn the corner, the indicator clicks off, and then I reach over, put my hazards on because we're stopping at her house. She was like, yeah, it's this first house here on the left. And even her mate turned around and said, yeah, he knows, it's on the map. And I was like laughing, I was like, it's on the map, it tells me where your house is. She was like, oh well, people can never find my house, I don't know why it is. I was like, well, God knows. So yeah, she was a pain. And then she starts climbing out and she was like, will this door shut itself? And I was like, yeah. I said, I've just pressed the button to open the door for you. I said, I'll press the button to shut the door for you. It was like, how do people just not understand how electric doors work? Honestly, I can't get my head around it. Another passenger done it before. She's walking over, I pressed the button, the door opened and she climbs in and she went, oh, will it shut itself? I said, yeah, I'll close that for you. So I pressed it, the door shut. We went round the corner. I pressed the button, the door opened, she was like, okay, thanks for that, she's climbing out. Do I need to shut this? I was like, no, it still shuts itself just like it did before. It's like, how are people's memory spans? So I don't get it. Like, is it just me? Or like, if I walk over to a door on a car and it opens, I'd think, oh, nice one, that's fancy. And I'd get in, the door starts shutting. I would only say, do I need to shut that door if it's been like 5 or 10 seconds? I would think, oh, am I supposed to shut this? But then the door would just shut. And then when I get there and the driver says, is this you here on the left, mate? I'd say, yeah, that's great, thanks. You pull in, the door opens, I get out, say thanks, and then he'd shut the door. I can't wrap my head round why you need to say, is this door going to open and close on its own, when you've already seen that the door opens and closes on its own. Just can't get my head around it. So anyway, that's my little rant over. But other than that, that's about it. It's a little bit slow, to be honest. It was all surging everything before. I thought, like, it's been busier, the jobs. Obviously, people have been paid. But the jobs that are coming through are either so far away it's not worth taking, or they're paying so little it's not worth taking. The ones I've been accepted, even though they have been low fares, it's been because I've been really close to them. Or like that other one I accepted, that was like £3.50 before. It was because I was dropping someone off at the pub and they were already there, so there was like 0 dead miles. But a lot of the jobs, like when I was driving down here then, because I'm going to be heading over soon, I've been waffling for 15 minutes nearly now, I'm going to be heading to go on the charger now. Little jobs were popping up for like £3, but they wanted me to travel 2 miles to it, to do like a mile or a mile and a half job, and I was thinking, I just can't be bothered. This is supposed to be like, you know, it's 9:30 on a Friday night and you're offering me jobs for £3.50. That's like, I get offered them jobs on a weekday in the dead hours, so I can't be bothered doing them. So yeah, I'll go back online now for another 10 minutes and then I'll head over to the charger. So I'll saying that, you know, it's not too bad. I've been getting a lot better miles per kilowatt because it's not as cold. You know, I've still got almost like a third of a tank left. So yeah, I'll be on charge for 10, be off for 11. So yeah, the next update will probably be around midnight, something like that maybe. So I'll catch you. So it's just after 1:30 and I've just got home. I've decided to call it a night. Where was we? So last update was 9:30. After that update, which took, I don't know, I think I was waffling for about 15 minutes. I then had another little tiny job, £3.75 for 0.6 of a mile. It was then about 10 to 10, so I went over to the charger and went on charge. Came back on about quarter past 11. First job, £4.18 for 1.9 miles. I then had, what was it, this one? No. A 3.77 for half a mile. A 376 for 0.8 of a mile, a 373 for 1.3 miles. I then had a 374 for 0.8 of a mile, and this was like the Karen of all Karens. So she booked me to pick her up from the Grand, which is like a restaurant in Southport. So she's asked me to pick her up on the main road. That's where the green dot is. So I've pulled in there, and then I could see the blue dot, obviously in the restaurant, you know, moving about and whatnot. So you can't get any closer than that. That's Lord Street is the closest. There used to be a road that used to run right outside I think it's like a restaurant and then like 2 bars next to it, but because there were so many people, basically they've shut that road off now and they've put tables and chairs there. So basically you can either stop at either end or you stop on Lord Street. So I've gone to Lord Street because that's where the customer wanted me to go. So I'm sat on Lord Street, sat there for a couple of minutes. I think the 3 minutes elapses, it goes into the chargeable time, and then I see this like proper Karen like walking down like tomorrow will do. So she gets in, doesn't say anything. So I was like, oh, have you had a good night? She was like, yep. I was like, oh, right, okay. And then it just started driving a little bit. And then she went, oh, I'm just staying at the hotel. She was staying at the hotel on the front. It was only, you know, what, 0.8 of a mile away. So I was like, oh, you staying there long? And she was like, no. Okay, you know, so she just had like a face like a smacked arse. I don't know what had happened, so I just left it to her. You know, I tried to have a conversation, but she wasn't interested. So I dropped her off anyway, and then straight after that, I got a little job, £5.26 for 1.4 miles. That includes a pound tip. Now I've been monitoring me feedback like throughout the night, because it's like slowly increased. What's around 4.98 or something. It was just about, I think it just gone on to 4.99, I think. So I checked it again, and then that woman had left a 2-star feedback, because I hadn't had any customers before that for a little bit, and I knew it wasn't the last customer that dropped off, because they were happy as Larry. They were talking about the bus, and they could do with getting one for the kids going to Centre Parks, and they gave me a pound tip and everything. So I knew they didn't have a problem. So I knew it would have been that absolute Karen who had a face on it. And so I looked at it, and she's left a 2-star feedback, or a negative feedback as I see it, because it says pick up too far. A rider reported their pickup was too far away. Like, how's that even possible? Like, the customer has said, this is where I want you to pick me up from. So I've gone to the pickup location, and then the customer is then eligible to leave the driver negative feedback because they've had to walk to the pickup point that they have selected. Like, the only way I could have got any closer to her would have been if I would have parked up, went into the restaurant, and gave her a piggyback back to the minibus. That's the only way I could have got any closer to her. So I just don't get it. It's really stupid, and it's the fact that, you know, I think the Uber system is crap, because surely it should be able to detect that the driver has gone to the pickup location. So you know, and that's where the journey started. So basically, if a passenger then wants to leave negative feedback to say the driver, you know, basically I've had to walk too far to the pickup point, basically saying that the driver has gone somewhere other than the pickup point, then the system should automatically identify that that's not the case, and that shouldn't be an option. Or it should say to them, you can't say that because the driver has actually picked you up from where you've specified. But it doesn't. It just allows them to leave negative feedback. So yeah, I'll phone Uber tomorrow to have a whinge. It is kind of pointless because, you know, Uber's policy is, well, you know, we allow everyone to leave feedback, and you know, so it's all open and fair. But I just don't get how, if you do as the customer is requesting of you, they can still leave negative feedback, because like I honestly just don't get it. I don't get it. If you've gone to the pickup point, how can it be your fault because the passengers had to walk over to you? So yeah, just so people are aware, there's plenty of Karens out there who've obviously got nothing better to do. I don't know if she's had a crap night. I don't know if it's been kick out time and she hasn't pulled or something, so she's thought, I'm going to take it out on the driver. I don't know what her issue is, but it's yeah, she's just a Karen. She's probably one of them people who, you know, leaves goes into like the local Facebook groups and then starts leaving like stupid comments about like, yeah, people letting fireworks off and stuff because it's affecting her dog or a budgie or something, but then posts as an anonymous person. That's the kind of vibe she was giving me. After that, I'd had enough of Southport, so I thought I'd go to Ormskirk, might be a few more jobs up there. There just seemed like there was too many privatised knocking about in Ubers. So I got into Ormskirk for around 11:30. First job, customer didn't bother turning up, so I got £3.75. I then got a £4.18 for 1 mile, a £3.78 for 1 mile, and then I had this job which was a pain. I accepted it because it was an Ormskirk to Ormskirk, so I thought it's going to be like some students going back to university. I think it was like £4 or something for like a mile. I don't even think it was a mile, it was less than a mile. So you get into the one-way system, you start going round, because they were at one of the car parks, and then as I'm not far off, it says pickup location updated. It was then updated back to like nearly where I'd set off from. So I had to carry on going all the way around the one-way system. That basically means that they're drunk and they're walking. They've set a location, they've carried on walking and thought, oh, we best update this now. So then I got around there, and then the lads come over, got in, started the journey, and the destination was like 200 yards away at a pub. So I said, you just going to Lime Tiger? That can't be right, can it? And then the lads went, oh no, just ignore that. Ignore that first one. One of the lads was supposed to be coming with us, but he's not. So just skip that one and go to the next destination if you can. I said, there is no other destinations. I said, you've only booked just to go to there. And he was like, oh, sorry mate, I'll update it now. So he starts clicking on it. And then it pops up Skelmersdale. So it ended up being £10.44 for 5.6 miles. So it wasn't horrendous, but it is when you look at it, the fact that it took 13 minutes to drive there, and then I have to drive 13 minutes back empty, because there's nothing coming back from Skem to Ormskirk at 1 o'clock in the morning. So then basically you've done about 11 miles or 26 minutes for £10.44, which is then crap. You know, I honestly was on the verge, because I've heard of where other drivers have said people will basically put kind of like false jobs in. So it'll be like, say, like an Ormskirk to Ormskirk. So a driver looks at it and goes, oh, that's okay, that's a £5 for like half a mile, just to get you to go and pick them up, and then they update it to something that you wouldn't want to do. Because I'll probably 99% of the Ormskirk to Skelmersdale jobs I'll ignore. I don't mind doing it if it's like 9-10 o'clock at night, because then you more than likely will get a job back, because a lot of people from Skem will go to the bars in Ormskirk. But if you're dropping someone off there at 1 o'clock in the morning, unless you're getting like £20, which kind of covers your return journey being empty, it's pointless going. So yeah, I was on the verge of saying, look, you've tried to pull the wool over my eyes there, but I thought, you know what, they're in now, I might as well just shoot up, drop them off, and just take it on the chin. But yeah, if it happens again, I'll just be cancelling it. And then after that, I done a little £3.80 for 0.9 of a mile, which again was just students back to Edge Hill. I think I'd done like 3 or 4 of them. And then I thought, oh, I'll see how much I've made, because I hadn't looked for a couple of hours, and I'm only on £145.66 pence. And I was like, well, that's just crap. I thought, like, you know, I've been out for 7 hours. You know, so that's basically like £20.80 an hour. So I thought, it's 1:30 in the morning. Even if I stay out for another hour now, or another 2 hours, and then come crawling in at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm only going to make like another 20-40 quid. You know, based upon how the whole evening's performance has gone. I thought, I can't be bothered. So, yeah, I just came home. Thought, I cannot be bothered with that. The amount of jobs coming through tonight that were ridiculous. It was unbearable. You know, for example, I was getting offered jobs. I'm in Ormskirk. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're asking me to drive over 10 miles to Tarleton, which is like Preston way, to then do like nearly 8 miles back towards Ormskirk, less than £1 a mile, and that was a surge job apparently. Bear in mind that I've been in Southport and the jobs were a little bit rubbish. They're then offering me a job to drive 20 minutes or just over 10 miles to go back to Southport to do a 2-mile job, and they were offering me £11.76, so less than £1 a mile. This is at 1:30, just before I logged off. I was then offered another job as I was driving back to go to Tarleton again, another 9 miles away, to do a 5.5 mile job, so about 14.5 miles in total, and they're offering £12.22. I was like, I just can't be faffed. So I logged off, and then the session summary, so it said between 20 past midnight and 1:45. So yeah, in that hour and a half, I was offered 48 trips, and I done or accepted 4. And that's because the jobs were just horrendous. And some of the jobs, that was annoying. I was parked up in Ormskirk, and a job came up. It was like Ormskirk to Bootle. It was like 14 miles. It was offering like 12 quid or something. So that's pointless because it's miles away and I'm not going to get anything coming back. So I clicked the X, ignored it. About 20 seconds later, the same job popped up again. I was like, I've just clicked X on that, so why is it offering the same job to the same driver if they don't want to do it? So I clicked X on it again. Sat there for another 20 seconds. The same job for Bootle popped up again. I was like, are they just not, you know, is the app not understanding that I don't want to do that? Is it not intelligent enough? Or so I clicked X again. It then comes up saying, are you sure you want to be online? You haven't accepted any jobs. Do you want to go offline? I'm thinking, it's like the audacity of it. They keep offering me the same crap job that I don't want to do, and I've clicked X on it 3 times, and then they're basically saying, oh yeah, so we're gonna log you off in a minute because you're not accepting these crap jobs. Yeah, so the Uber, the app's just proper wound me up tonight, and the fact that I've done a measly £145.66 is crap, to be honest, really crap. So other than that, that's about it, to be honest. Don't think a great deal else has happened. What are we on now, stats wise? So yeah, my rating, which was slowly climbing up, has now come back down a bit because of that Karen. It's now on 4.98 when it was on 4.99. My confirmation rate, or acceptance rating as I call it, I don't know why they call it confirmation rate, is now plummeted to 26%. Surprised it's as high as 26, to be honest. And cancellation 0. And that's about it. So I will catch you on tomorrow's, Saturday's I think I'm going to come out a little bit earlier. Instead of coming out at like 4 or 5, I'll try and come out at like 2, try and catch some of the daytime stuff. And then I can try and just finish it about 2 o'clock instead of trying to finish at like 3 or 4, to be honest. So yeah, I'll catch you on tomorrow's.